Good evening, everyone. This is Miss Sophia the Diva, coming to you finally with my thoughts on um, Queen Sugar, Season 1, Episode 4, The Darker Sooner. So, as you know, last week we left off with a few revelations about the Borderland siblings. They've decided to go ahead and proceed with the farm and let little brother Ralph Angel run it. And the episode picks up with Ralph Angel. And it's a scene, and you can tell by how it's shot that it's like he's alone. And so he's in deep thought about the fact that finally I'm getting a break. I'm going to get an opportunity to do some of the things and show my sisters that I am capable of running this farm, and I'm going to be great at it. So then we pan out. We find out that he's at the bank, and I guess Charlie decided to go ahead and hand over some cash and let her brother do what he got to do to run this farm. I mean, he does say that he learned everything from his beloved father. Um, so he's signing some paperwork. I'm not sure, maybe it's for a line of credit or whatever, but the banker lets him know, everything is set. It'll take 2 or 3 days, but you've got $100,000 in cash. Your sister has already set up everything. And he's like, hot dog, we in business now. Yes, me and Blue gonna make it. And so when he's coming out the bank, he runs into that very handsome Stetson hat wearing Remy Newell. And, he said, hey, what's up? He was like, yeah, I was just in the bank getting some stuff done because, I got to go get me some seed cane. And he was like, Charlie left you in charge? And the way he asked it was like, I don't think that was a good idea. But okay. He's like, no, I mean that. But she had just asked me before she left about, getting a farm manager. And, it's late in the season, so of course we couldn't get her one. He was like, nah, I'm going to be doing it. And he was like, great, so you registered with the state, right? And Raw looked like, oh, shit. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. No, Ralph Angel, you don't know what you're doing. And I think it's perfectly okay to ask for help. Now, I'm going to kind of try to wrap this storyline up here because there was so much that happened in this episode. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wrap up right now Ralph Angel's storyline. And I'm going to wrap up Violet and Hollywood's. And I am also going to wrap up Micah's I'm Only Broken Hearted storyline. Anyways, Ralph Angel throughout this episode, it seems like things are going really great. He's made a new friend down to the new job. His name is Melvin. And I was like, that ain't going to be good, the band name Melvin. And anyone who knows me knows that there was once a Melvin in my life. And I'll leave it at that. Dude is like, oh, yo, dude, you farm? And he was like, yeah, I got to go get some seed cane, And, my dad left me and my sisters a piece of land. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, how many acres you got? He's like, 800. Well, my cousin, he got a farm out there in Jackson. And, I don't think they just giving away stuff. So, if you need something, we'll hook up. He said, don't worry about it, brother. I'm good. I can take care of you. I can handle these boxes. Baby, when they opened up that scene with Ralph Angel down there throwing all them boxes, I said, ooh, we could have used him in East Rewrap back in the day when I worked for FedEx at the hub in Memphis. Because, baby, Diva was 18 and I just couldn't handle it. But thank God I was cute and young. And the men didn't mind lifting the heavy boxes for me. I don't think, and I think my revelation about this is going to be so true, is that Melvin is one of those, because, a lot of these people that work at this place, I don't know what it is, if it's a distribution center or packaging center, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, a lot of the people that work there are former convicts, and some of them have that prison mentality where they do things in order for you to owe them. And so he allows Ralph Angel to go and try to get this seed cane. Well, Ralph Angel runs into some roadblocks, of course. He gets down to the feed store. the guy's like, he's oh no. He's talking about, I need to get some seed cane. And dude was like, okay, well, no problem. So he talks to him. He says, so you register a state, where's your parish? Da, da, da. And like, you can tell in Ralph Angel's mind, it's like chaos. Like, why is he asking me all these questions? And so in the end, everything is sold out, and it'll be a few weeks before he can even get the seed cane. Problem is that we all know from last episode, we learned that crops should have been in months ago. They only got a short window of time. They've got 800 acres. They're only going to farm 300. Remy Newell has already offered to help, but told him he could check down at Louisiana State for some seed cane. But then Ralph Angel was like, well, I have another alternative. So he comes back to his office, tells the guy, thank you so much for helping, and he gets the seed cane from dude's cousin. Bad deal. When Remy Newell meets up with him at the farm, he checks the seed cane. There's a fungus. Basically, you just wasted $15,000, bro. Not a good deal. And this is probably why throughout the episode, Charlie kept calling him, harassing her, harassing his sister Nova, because they want, we want you to be successful, Ralph Angel, but at the same time, you can't play with this, because otherwise we could have just sold the farm. But I guess because of the sentimental value, they decided not to. And so anyway, Remy calls Charlie and lets her know, your little brother messed up today, but please don't be so hard on him, because he feels really, really bad. And we, the audience, can totally see that Ralph Angel is like, damn, I messed up. Especially because his sister Nova, calls him at the time when he's leaving the feed store. And she's like, did you get the seed cane? And I knew you weren't going to do it. And then he was like, what about you? Charlie's living in LA dealing with her own stuff, but what about you? You live here. And she was like, I'm working on my story. I'm trying to get these people out of jail. And then he told me, oh, really? Because when I was in jail, you never once even, how many times did you come see me? Your own brother. How many times did you come see me? And then Nova got checked. I was like, ooh, cold-blooded. I was like, Ralph Angel, baby, I'm so sorry, because I know how you feel. Sometimes family will make strangers a priority over you. And that's a damn shame. But I'm here to tell you, it happens. Needless to say, Ralph Angel, everything is going to work out. I really think that your sister's feminine wiles has seduced Mr. Remy Newell into wanting to be the farm manager. Because we find out in her conversation with him that Remy Newell apparently is a man about town. I was like, I appreciate a man that work hard, but when you going to be home, boo? He said that he was a water irrigation specialist. He is a professor. He is a chef and a barber and just an all-around hustler. He ain't got time to be no farm manager for Charlie. But then again, he reconsiders, maybe I could make an exception. And this is when I was laughing at this conversation, because I said it's kind of a double-sided thing. Because he says, all right, Charlie. He's like, when are you coming back down here next time? If you really want this farm to work, you got to be all in. And he was like, you can't be double-minded. And I'm like, there's two things going on here. Number one, when you come, he wants to know, when are you going to come back and see me? Number one. And number two, is it over between you and Davis? Because if it's going to be me and you can't be straddling the fence, boo. Okay. I was like, girl, you better get with that. Because Davis ass, he made me want to smack him throughout this entire episode. He act like everything is sweet, but you the cheat. Come on now, boo. That ain't how it works. Micah, his son, is suffering because of his actions. You've been accused of rape. You got a 15-year-old son, and now he's become part of the meme scene. Okay? So Micah, when his parents are talking, he comes in and he says he was ready to go to school. So his mom gets him to school. And that's when that little fast-tailed girl, Stella, is waiting there for him. The one he been texting to. Oh my God, your family has such funny names. Oh my God. I was like, and as soon as I saw that little heifer, I knew she was no good for that young man. I knew it. She ain't no good. She ain't no damn good. So we don't know it yet, but when they pull up to the school, one of the things that pissed me off too, Micah is a 15-year-old boy. Why is the paparazzi patrol out there waiting to shoot and catch whatever they can of him and his mama? He is a child. Let him be. And ain't this California? Oh no, that's France where they have paparazzi protection. I thought Governor Brown signed a little bit of everything these days. We can protect the puppies. We can talk about our salaries. But we can't protect our children from the paparazzi. We need to work on that, Governor Brown. Let's get together. So anyway, there go little hot tub. Oh my God, your bag. And I'm just like, ugh. So Charlie's like waving, and then you see this little white lady. Because I guess the girl must be like biracial or something. She looks like she could potentially be biracial. And it's this ice queen looking white woman that gives Charlie like a death stare. She's like, hey. And the old girl's like, we later on learned that that's little Stella Bella's mama. And the mama don't want her daughter around the son of an accused rapist. So Micah and her are all lovey-dovey and stuff. And, you know, then in one scene, he's walking with his little friends up the stairs. And they meet back up with little Stella Bella. And one of the boys, and for some reason when I saw this scene, I was thinking, something is not right about this. I think that one of those little boys is out to get what Micah got. And as it turns out, he might have already got what he got from little Stella. So, you know, they're up there talking. He was like, and one little white boy was like, did you tell him about the page? And he was like, what page? And she was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just some Tumblr page, kids being mean. And so, they sweep it under the rug. Later on, they're at her house, hanging out, having a good time, like little teenagers do. And that's when he sees the pages, and he sees memes talking about like father, like son. There's pictures of her and him together. And I'm like, that is so mean. But let's just be real. Social media has no chill. Whether you're a baby or a child, they're going to talk about you. You could be disabled. They will talk about you. It don't matter. So then that's when they have this little moment. He tells her he loves her. And she's like, oh my God. And that's when the Snow Queen mama show up. And she was like, Micah, what you doing here? Honey, we have a dinner to go to. She was like, that was last week. She was like, Mike, I really would appreciate if you would call before you come over here. She was like, he's never had to call before. And so that's when I know. I said, some shit about to go down. Sure enough, it does. After he leaves the house, that's when things get weird. Because apparently he had been texting this little girl all night long. Gets back to school. She's acting funny. He's like, you couldn't call me or text me. What's wrong with you? So then that's when later on Charlie is wheeling and dealing trying to save the family empire. And she gets a phone call from the school. She goes up to the school. They're all in the chancellor's office. And that's when he says that there was a lewd picture sent. And Charlie was like, everybody show the picture. Everybody show a picture. And that's when she found out that there was a situation on the phone. All I could think about was that Kevin Hart bit that he does where his friend tells him about a little boy's peeing being on the daggone his daughter's phone. And it's kind of like that. But that's when Micah has a revelation when he finds out that there is a penis pic on his girlfriend's phone. Is that, number one, I didn't send that pic. And number two, that means she's cheating on me. But we don't find that out until he runs out of the meeting, basically in tears. I'm like, poor baby, your family's falling apart. Your first little love affair is falling apart. This is not a good day for Micah West. Bless his little heart. But you were so ready to come back home. We all know you weren't ready to come back home for your daddy. You were ready to come back home for that little fast-tailed girl you found out that wasn't no good. I knew she wasn't no good when she was making fun of your family's names. That's when you know you ain't got no good woman, okay? I don't know what they're going to do about that. I hope that, because, I mean, the mother was so mean. She goes, well, if you don't know what it is, but it's not like you haven't seen it before. You gave birth to him. And I was like, okay, you're a little mean with that, but okay. So now we got some pork and beans. What did Kevin Hart say? I can't remember the whole bit, but it was hilarious because his friend wanted to go up to the school and like pass around the picture, and he was like, dude, you don't want to do that because people are going to think you like a pervert or a pedophile, okay? So Micah has suffered his first heartbreak, and I wonder how he feels now, since technically he wouldn't be in this situation but for the fact that his father chose to buy a hoe. Okay? Hollywood and Vi. Vi is in need of some love and affection, and her man is saying that he has to now go back to work. And she's like, can't you just move your schedule around again? Can't you just stay one more week? Can you work for the farm? And then Hollywood is like, babe, you hear that? You hear that? Ain't nobody in the house. Everybody gone. We can get it in until the cops come knocking. I was like, oh, shit, Auntie Vi, girl, no wonder you be trying to hold on to that. But also we learned that really the reason why Auntie Vi is holding on to is that she's having a hard time. And when Nova's story comes out, she tells her that, I'm so proud of you. Your dad would be so proud of you. And, and I just love how I see all you kids just moving on. But it's just so hard for me. She says, one more moment I'm fine, and the next moment I'm just a hot mess. And I was just like, Auntie Vi, honey, it don't matter if it's been one day or 10 years or 20 years. There are times when I think about some of my loved ones and I just burst into tears. And that's why this show touched me so much, because one of the people I love the most in this world has been gone for 10 years. It's been 10 years as of July. Not to mention, there's been a few other friends and family that have gone on. I mean, just last year I lost 6 people. And I'm still not recovered from some of that. Some of it was such a surprise, especially 2 of my young friends. They were only 40 and 42, so it's okay. One of the things about the kids is that, especially with Nova and Charlie, one of the things about us as females is that we'll do stuff like that to avoid the grieving process, or to just, if we stay busy, we don't have to break down and appear weak. So I think that's what Charlie is doing. I think that's what Nova is doing. I think what Nova is doing is a really great, it's something that needs to be discussed, and I'm glad that it's being shown on a grand scale. And I hope people know that her story is not a work of fiction. It's not just a storyline. It is what happens in today's world. Romani Malco, you know him from Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady movie. You also, if you watch Blog Talk on cable, I think it comes on Showtime, I don't remember, but I watch it. It's funny. He's on there. It's a really good show. But he is getting ready to do a movie called Prison Logic, and he also released a video about the prison industrial complex that is very informative and talks about how even though slavery is gone, it's really not gone. So, anywho, let's see. Let me see what else did I miss. Charlie. Let's talk about Charlie. Charlie is a woman scorned. Charlie had this fairy tale lifestyle that she thought was perfect, and she had the perfect man, the perfect home, the perfect life. But you married to a ball player, honey. Playa is the operative word. I'm not saying all of them are guilty of it, but there is a grand scheme of men who go along to get along. Because the mentality is we got money, power, respect. We are gods on the court, and we can do whatever we want. I've got the woman I really want, but at the same time, I want to keep dipping and sampling. After she gets off the phone with her little brother, when she stresses the importance of him getting this right the first time, we find out she down to the free clinic. I said, all right, Charlie, you took my advice, because your man been out here in the streets messing around with God knows who, paying for cooter cat and all that stuff. Girl, you don't know if the cooter is good or if it's bad, okay? Either way, I'm proud of you, okay? So the doctor was like, you just had a pap smear 6 months ago. She was like, I know, but I want you to test for everything. Girl, my husband been out here in these streets. Okay, girl, I want you to scrape and draw blood and do whatever you got to do. Because, we need another pap smear and test for everything. Let's do this. She's burying herself in her work. She's meeting with the agent and her team to try and save some of Davis's endorsement deals. And the agent was really trying to hold on or get a deal with McDonald's and Nike. And she's like, we didn't build his brand for him to just be slinging hamburgers and sneakers. And so the agent was like, oh, okay. So she was like, call Rolex and call Mercedes Benz. I was like, let me tell you something. Tiger wasn't even paying for Cooter Cat. Okay, as a matter of fact, Tiger wouldn't even buy these girls a cheeseburger off the dollar menu at Mickey D's. Okay, so and guess what? All of his endorsement deals got dried up. Hey, a lot of these contracts have morality clauses. And if you've been accused of something as heinous as rape, some of your endorsement deals are going to go away. Don't worry. Don't worry. They'll come back once the taint is gone. But meanwhile, you just going to have to struggle on. You might have to, eat a few cheeseburgers here and there, that may or may not be real meat. But that's okay. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, girl. The agent lets her know that the team, the other members that were accused of participating in this gang rape, essentially is what it sounds like to me, are now mounting a defense together and without Davis. This, at that point, made me start wondering, was this a setup? Because during the show, they meet up with the coach and the owner of the team, and they're basically saying that the league wants him out and that he is too much of a liability for them, especially when rape is involved, and they're saying that there's a rape kit. So Davis, really, his whole image is tarnished, and he might have to go play somewhere like China or Italy or somewhere and end up being a single man and, without his family or whatever. But either way, he screwed up big time. And when Charlie was talking to the managers and stuff, to the coach and the owner, she was like, y'all better be careful how y'all use that word, especially when legal counsel isn't around. And what do you mean that he's going to be on an indefinite suspension? That is overreach. At one point, they're like, well, we got stuff to do. We ain't got time to sit up here and babysit and deal with Davis. He a grown-ass man. He shouldn't have been out here dipping and dabbing. Have some discretion. When they leave the meeting, Davis is all like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you're here for me. Now that you guys are home, maybe we can have family time. And in her mind, I bet Charlie was like, didn't I just tell you in the office when you came in there like a damn puppy who had just peed on the carpet and you wanted some gratification and some notice so you would soften the blow in your eagerness? Let me go back here and talk to his coach. Well, come to find out, apparently Davis and Charlie have been helping out the coach. I wonder what his vices are, because she was like, do you know how many times we have covered for you and even saved your ass? And then finally, that's when he was like, girl, it ain't good for Davis at all. And I don't even know if I can overthrow the league's decision. It's not really us, it's the league. So you've got the basketball commission involved. So I don't know what they gonna do, but Davis screwed up. There is a point when Charlie ends up meeting up with, well, I realize now, tell me guys what you think about this, but remember when her and the agent were in the office talking, she said, I haven't been able to talk to any of the other wives to find out what's going on. No one's returning my phone calls. Well, that's not surprising, because the coach confirmed what her suspicions were, is the fact that the players and their wives are distancing themselves from the Davis West brand altogether. And then on top of that, the agent, therefore, has lunch with one of the men's wives. As a matter of fact, it's one of the ones that she was talking to in the first episode when they were trying to convince her to do this Basketball Wives, like, reality show. And so she was like, hey, girl, Hey, girl, I didn't know you were here too. And so Charlie kept it really classy because Lena was like, oh, girl, I've been meaning to call you. She was like, oh, it's okay. And she was like, I'm so sorry about your daddy. And that's when Charlie just kind of looked like, if you were sorry about my daddy, you probably would have returned my phone calls. But you ain't no damn real fan. You are fake. You are fake. So she was like, girl, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay for dinner. I'm going to pay for y'all's lunch. And then she goes to the restroom, and that's when the agent comes in. And that's why I said maybe this was staged and set up so that Charlie could get some intel and the agent could give her feedback. So she tells her the same thing, that basically everyone is distancing themselves from Davis and that they're talking to some high-powered attorney named Estelle. What was her name? Estelle Peterson. And I've seen this lady before. Oh my God. She was so ethereal and she just oozed like superwoman power. She was very well put together. Basically tells them everything about it, because Davis is like, why are we here? I thought we already had an attorney, because she went on and called and made an appointment. And so she tells her all the information that I have a feeling Davis didn't want her to know. Because if you remember in the office scene, because I didn't talk about this fully because I'm just going to try to gel all of this together. In the office scene when she was like, what is her name? Who is this thought that you had to pay for? Goldie. And I was like, I'll never cheat, lie, or steal from Goldie. Y'all remember that from the Mac? Estelle tells them that she has a PI that has been tracking her down. The woman is 26 years old. Her real name is something, Molina Gold something. And so that's probably why she goes by Goldie. And she says that we can handle this one way or the other. And I'm not talking about taking a plea deal or settling. What I'm saying is we're going to offer this heifer some money and see if she takes it. All hoes want money. She's 26 years old. Her website, she sells group sex through her business. So she's a prostitute. She's a hoe. And so this is what we're going to do. And then Davis was like, oh no, we got to go. And I was like, what you trying to hide, Davis? What are you trying to hide? What is it about this woman that you don't want your wife to know? And why don't you want her to go away? Okay. So it doesn't seem like the DA has a lot on him. Who knows, this rape kit might be legitimate. We'll see how this plays out, because we know in next week's episode coming up, Charlie apparently makes a trip down to Houston to visit this 26-year-old woman who informs her that basically, you don't know the half about your husband, honey. And I'm thinking to myself, this might be his side piece that he's been promising to leave his wife and get with her. Or he may even have a whole other family with this woman. We don't know, but I'm suspicious, so we'll see. Let's talk about Nova. So Nova is back to work again, back on her grind, chasing a news story that I think is very, very powerful, and there's some revelations. It's all about this plea deal farm that the DA's office has cooked up down in the parish, where they are rounding up young men like herds of cattle and holding them, knowing that their families cannot afford to get them proper legal counsel. And basically, this is when we find out that sometimes the legal system is in fact a ranch hand's dream. Okay? So it seems to me she's also just trying to bury herself in her work. Nova is interviewing this dishwasher who at one point when he was 17 years old got picked up for having like an ounce of crack on him, but they upped the charges and said that it was more than that, and it was basically enough to be considered intent to distribute. And so he tried to wait it out, but they put him in a position to where he was getting beat up. And even if he had gone into isolation, he probably wouldn't have been able to eat. They probably would have tried to starve him to death. I mean, it was just a bad situation. And he was like, they wanted to give me 15 to 20. And if I took the plea deal, I would get 3 years or 8 years or whatever. He told me I could have gotten less time for killing somebody. And that's true, because it sounds to me like he was just a product of the crime bill where, you know, there were sentencing guidelines unless you took a plea deal. Meanwhile, while she's there talking to the dishwasher, that's when she gets a phone call from her boyfriend, and she learns that the young man she was visiting last week, too sweet, got beat up really bad, and it's not looking good. So she goes to the hospital. He meets her there. He allows her to sneak in and see him, and she takes a picture of it, and that's when she knows this story has to get out. It has to get out. And so she tries to meet up with the DA. Before that, she does meet with her boss, and her boss is like, I thought you would take more days off considering, your father just died. And she's like, no, I have to get the story out. She tells him about all her sources, all the different cases that have been presented to her, and he says, fine, go with it. And she says, I'll get a copy to you by midnight. So she goes to the DA's office. The DA, she had an appointment with the DA. The DA stood her up. So basically the DA is engaging in avoidance and doesn't want to talk about this and doesn't want to be put on the record because they have a lot to lose, because the setup is real. So then she meets with this chick named Francine, who is an ACLU lawyer, whom if I wasn't in so much debt, I would probably go work for the ACLU because they do such good work fighting for the civil rights and liberties of others. So in this conversation, she tells her, it seems to me in the past year, the number of arrests and plea deals have tripled. And Francine is like, well, honey, you've got the bricks. You just have the wrong foundation. Let me tell you something. Baby, when that FEMA money ran out, they had to come up with some money because the department was broke. And so then they had to look to the for-profit prisons. The more bodies they have, the more money they got, and and then the districts get money off the top, or the parishes get money off the top for that. Just a body, just a number, just greenbacks. Blacks in that, and most of the kids were underage too. So they prey on the poor, the ignorant, and that's what they've been doing in the prison industrial complex. So Nova's able to get this story together and it gets published. Her Aunt Vi is so proud of her, and Aunt Vi said something about, how is this not legal? She's like, I know they don't like us, but how can they do this? Shouldn't even be legal. And Nova says something we all know to be true. These are the times we live in, and that's true. I don't know if y'all saw it today, but I saw this very young lady. I can't remember her first name, but I remember her last name was Oliphant. And I'm so proud of the people of Charlotte, North Carolina right now, because they are doing what I have been saying from the beginning, is that people need to show up at these city council meetings and confront the very people that can change the course of they can change the course of how things are. And Miss Oliphant, this beautiful black young lady who probably, I don't know how old she was she's 7 or 8, and she had me crying because basically this baby said what we all have been saying. Why do you hate us? Why do you kill our mommies and daddies so that we'll never see them again? Why do you hate us because of the color of our skin? And I'm paraphrasing, but and I was in tears. I said, that is some powerful stuff, and I want to say, hell, if they ain't killing us, they locking us up, so shit. They'll do anything to get us. So Nova publishes the story, but I think Nova got in trouble for that with her little boo, so we'll see. I don't know. Bad news for Davis. Old girl isn't going to take the plea, isn't going to take the $500,000 that's being offered to her. Because Charlie is like, what do you mean she's not going to take the money? Estelle was like, she said she didn't want it, so we've got problems. And so I think that's probably when Charlie decided to go down there. So I really want to know what Davis is hiding. Tell me in the comments below what you guys think Davis West is hiding from Charlie about this Goldie woman. Is she the other woman all this time and probably got some kids or a kid by him, and that's why he been promising her that he gonna leave Charlie for her? Not only that, Nova, even though her story is hot and is making some headway, we see in the previews that her boyfriend had a problem with it. So I don't know what that's about. He's like, do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've done? I'm like, what? She told the truth and got your job in jeopardy and you mad? So Hollywood and Vi, she's still trying to convince him to run the farm. But he goes on his merry way to this job next week, and we see that she's asking him, where is he? And we see him pulling up his pants with some young woman. Vi told him, look, did we not hear her say in the premiere episodes that if you want some kids or something like that, then you need to go get you somebody else and cut me loose right now. That would have been the best thing to do. At the end, we also see dinner being set, a table being prepared. Ralph Angel and Blue come in. We haven't seen Blue in a while. He really took up the first 2 episodes. Now we haven't seen him but a couple of times. Bring Black Blue. He brings sunshine to the show. And Nova. They're setting the table together, and she tells her brother she's so sorry for not having confidence in him. And he kind of looks like whatever, but then at the end they give a hug, and he tells her that he read her article, and it was dope. But anyway, next week is going to be interesting. Charlie does, in fact, return, we see, to St. Josephine Parish. And that's when Sam Landry trying to throw shade at her, talking about, I'm surprised you're here, considering a woman in your position. You know, most women would still be in bed. And she's like, I'm not like most women. I was like, tell him, girl, because some of us, we rise, we are resilient, and we are fierce, honey. We will put on a strong face, even when on the inside we are crumbling. Where's Blue's mama? We ain't seen her either in a minute. Was she still recovering from that drunken tussle that Ralph Angel put on her when he was in his feelings? Inquiring minds want to know. I think that's all. So tell me what you think. I don't think things are looking too good for Davis West. I think he gonna have to fess up to what's really going on to Charlie. I commend Charlie for doing the things she told him, I'll be your manager, but I can't promise you that I'm gonna still be your wife. And she also told her son, be prepared, because your mom and daddy might not be together anymore. We so sorry. Don't think just because we got money and stuff that everything is sweet. Okay, mama, love you, boo. Let us hope that everything works out for Micah, because hopefully they can prove that that is not his situation on that little girl's phone. That's all I got. Y'all have a good day. Good night. Diva is out.